Good afternoon or good morning or whatever other time you are in other zones. I'm Spiros Makridakis, and I'm the director of my center, my forecasting center. Well, the purpose of this webinar is to let you ask whatever questions you want. So we're going to do very little talking. The only thing I want to emphasize is that it's going to be a real life data course. You're going to bring your own data, and in addition to that, you have to do assignments to forecast using your own data, or if you don't have your own data, to ask us to give you data. We have plenty of them from the series of the M competitions. What I would like to do is I would like to introduce you the professors that are going to be teaching with me. And can we have the other professors, Sean, Thomas? So this is Professor Pasquale Cirillo, and on the right is Professor Spiliotis, Evangelos Spiliotis, and the three of us will be teaching the course. I'm going to be talking more generally about forecasting and what is going on in the field and what are the new trends. And I'm going also to talk about the results of the M5 competition that we just finished a couple of months ago. Pasquale will talk about uncertainty a lot and about forecasting applications. He's been in the field for a very long time. He's a close collaborator with Nassim Taleb. And Vangelis is a professor in Greece, and he's been doing a lot to explain to you the various types of forecasting courses, including machine learning and advanced machine learning ones. So I'm opening the question, and we'll do as little talking and as much possible to answer your questions.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, everyone.
Do you want to say a couple of things until we start seeing questions, Pasquale?
Yeah, I think I'm really eager to see questions and to answer questions. What I want to stress is that this is a very interesting and cool course that really teaches how to deal with forecasting in practice. So that's why you correctly stress, Spiros, about the use of their own data, which I think it's very fundamental. So if you have your own problems with your data, bring your data to the course, and via the course, we will possibly solve them. So I think this is a great opportunity that this course offers beyond teaching you what you don't know about forecasting. So it's really learning by doing, which is very important nowadays.
Vangelis?
Yes, I would also like to stress that even if you do not have any analytics, together we will have the opportunity with tutorials to introduce you to the R programming language, learn how you can apply standard forecasting methods and more advanced machine learning ones like neural networks and decision trees, and start using these methods in order to solve forecasting problems in your companies and organizations, and start supporting decisions.
I see that there is a first question by Chris about R, and that obviously connects also to what Vangelis just said. So it is not assumed that you are an expert in R if you want to attend this course. So we will use R in the course, but at the beginning of the course, there is an introduction to R. You will find some pre-recorded lectures I'm preparing for you. So you will see the basics of R that are needed for us in order to be successful in the rest of the course. And obviously, during the course, every time something is not clear in what we teach you in some of the algorithms in the coding, is you just clearly have the opportunity to ask for it. And we will be happy to help you. So the answer is that no, it's not important that you are already an expert in R. You will become one.
And if I understand correctly, Pascual, you are preparing some help for them, some way to teach them through tutorials how to use R, right?
Yeah, indeed, really from scratch. So really from scratch. So I'm not saying how to install R, because that will essentially change according to the operating system, but this is something that everyone can do. I will show you where to go to do that. But once you have R and RStudio installed, I will start from scratch. That is what we will do.
I don't see any questions. Maybe you can start sending us questions.
I would also like to during the course, there is a forum where you can post your questions, either being about programming in R or more theoretical questions, and we're always there to help and provide some useful approaches to deal with the problem that you deal with.
And also there are assignments for the course that you have to submit during the course, and a final assignment at the end of the course. And another thing to do before we start the questions, let me introduce our marketing manager, who is on the bottom left. And if you want, he will send you his email so you can talk to him and ask more questions about registrations and things like that.
There's a question about programming in Python. I should say that if someone is already familiar coding in Python or in MATLAB or any other language, he or she is free to do so, of course. But even if you do not have any knowledge on programming, R will be the standard and what will be basically showing throughout the course. But you are free to use whatever language.
Yes, and if you know any language, so if you know Python, learning R, it's very, very similar. So it's very simple. I mean, it's very good that you already know any programming language, because you can easily switch to a new one. Initially, you will have the common problem of the wrong parentheses, because you are used to the square one and then you use the bracket, but it will work.
There is a question here, how much does the course cost? All of this information is in the website, so you can go and see, in addition to what we're saying here, if you go to MOFC website, all of the information is there. The course costs 2,000 euros, but we're going to make discounts for you who are in this webinar. And again, if you talk to Nick, he will arrange and make available discounts for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what
will
I'm
be following
showing
on
now,
with an email with a promo.
yeah, and what I'm showing now, you can see on your screen, I'm sharing with you the website of our course, where you can really find all the information, obviously from the registration, which is very important, to the possibility of contacting us for questions, even later, if at a certain point you have other questions that you have not asked. And you can find all the important information like the course outline, something about the three of us, so your instructors, if you are interested in that, something about the assessment, so all the practicalities of the course, let's say. So it's very important that you visit the website. And obviously, if you already did, feel free to ask questions if something is not clear.
There's a question about the time attending the course and reading the material and preparing the projects. I should say that, of course, every week there are 2 hours that the course will take place. And depending on the week, there will be some assignments. The time that this will require from your side to complete the assignment, I think is quite relative, because it depends on how much knowledge and skills you have on programming with R and problem solving. But I guess that maybe 5 or 6 hours a week will be more than enough in order to deal with this task, because we will have already discussed all the things that you'll need during the course to the assignments and be able to proceed.
There is a comment by Paolo. I don't have a specific issue to be solved. Shall I find some data issue to bring, or you are going to provide me with some other data issue? Whatever you want, Paolo. If you don't have data, we have so much data. We have billions of time series with other data involved. So we can give you whatever you want. In terms of issue, we're going to develop and we're going to talk about major issues facing forecasting. So hopefully you're going to get a lot of information about what are the major issues facing forecasting right now. For instance, the coronavirus is a major issue facing everybody who does any forecasting, and we're going to talk about it.
I think this answer also the Massimiliano cannot use the data of his own company. I think that if you are interested in working with sales data on of the retail industry, you can use the data of the M5 competition, which are the data that come from Walmart. So I think that this will do the trick for you.
Plenty of data, 42,000 time series with related information. So we have plenty of data. Don't worry about data.
I think, Pascal, there's a question for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I see that there is by Adrian a question about what we will, that's my part, so I can answer. So about the approach to teaching forecasting of fat tails distributions. Yeah, so in my part of the course, when we cover these topics, so forecasting on the fat tails, we will see what we can and what we cannot, because sometimes we cannot, and we have to be clear about that, what we can and what we cannot forecast, and what are the ways in which you can approach forecasting on the fat tails, what are the tricks, how we can understand the type of tails we are playing with. Well, we will see that there are different type of tails we can play with, and depending on the tail, the way in which we approach forecasting changes. Okay, so but that's definitely what we will do. And the way in which we will do that is consistent with all the other modules of the course, in the sense that there will be obviously the theory that is needed. I would like a lot of interaction. So I will ask you very, very often if you know something or you don't know something, because obviously if we can assume that everyone knows a topic, we can assume that this is for granted. but we will build the knowledge and we will apply that to real data. And again, if you have your own data, very well.
But let me emphasize, Pasquale is the big expert about fat tail distributions, and he will pass you his knowledge. So there's a lot to learn from
Thank you,
Pasquale.
Spiros.
There's a question coming from Mark. He asks if the assignments will be done in groups. No, the assignments are done from each student individually. Okay, so there's
But
no...
they can collaborate if they want to work together to develop the individual assignments, right, Vangelis?
Yes, there's always information exchange and interaction between the students. As I said, there's a forum where everyone can ask questions and, you know, share ideas. Okay, I'm just saying that the fun is, you know, per person.
So I see that there is a question about if the course will just cover forecasting for company data or also global trends. Now, I don't know if I understand correctly what global trends are, but let's say that the knowledge you will acquire with this course can be applied to several type of data. So not necessarily sales, if we cover sales in a module, or if we cover some returns of a given stock. I mean, the thing that you learn then can be applied obviously to other type of data. And if you have some specific data you are interested in for having the analysis and the forecast, bring the data. So that's the best answer I can give you. So I don't know what you mean by global trends, but the answer is possibly yes, if we have the data. If you ask about what will happen in 50 years from now in the field of technology, no, this is not the type of course that will answer that. And if you ask us who will win a given election in 1 month from now, we don't know that. So this is not the type of forecasting. But if there are data and you want to understand trends, if you want to understand the type of uncertainty which is inherent to the data, yeah, this is the course.
Yeah. A major point we're going to make during the course is what are the advantages and limitations of forecasting. Okay. And we're going to make absolutely certain that there is no forecast that it's certain. There's always uncertainty. And one of the major points that are going to come during the course is how we'll be able to deal with this uncertainty. And uncertainty can be regular uncertainty, can be fat tail uncertainty. And it's as important as forecasting, and we're going to stress this to a great extent.
There is a question about learning about machine learning methods. I should say that first of all, we'll get a nice picture about which is the state of the art in machine learning and deep learning. We'll see which methods do currently best in this task, and of course, depending on the problem, because different methods work better for different kinds of problems. And then we'll see how we can apply some of them, complex and more complex ones, mainly neuron trees. So yes, we'll have a nice overview of what's happening right now and how we can methods.
I think that there was some problem with the connection. I don't know if it was just for me. So
yeah,
maybe...
it's a little, it's normal. What I want to say about machine learning methods, the method that came first in the M5 competition, where there were more than 7,500 competitors, was a simple machine learning method that we're going to be teaching during the course, called Light GBM. And Vangelis will be talking about this and telling you how to apply it. But this method was the best method, the top method that came first in the competition was using this method, this machine learning method. was 22% more accurate than the best of our benchmarks. So it seems to be a very accurate method.
I think
There's a question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Vangeli.
I think we should emphasize once again, because there are a lot of people asking about it, that you do not have to have any prior knowledge about programming in R. Pascal will give an introduction to R, and then as the course goes on, we will provide examples. We will show how to do it. So apart from, having some basic statistical skills and understanding how basic statistics work, we will take it from there, and we can introduce you to the world of forecasting. And there are little requirements for installing. In a typical lab, you will not have any problem working with R and providing forecasts for the assignments.
There's a question, what is the maximum number of students? Well, in Cyprus, there is instruction from the ministry not to be more than 30. So we're going to keep this number. Now, if there are 35 or 37, then we may not be able to split into two. If there are more than 40, we're going to split into two sections. Okay.
Yeah, what we want to do is to have the interaction, and obviously a class of hundreds of people all together is impossible. We have experience in that. So yeah, and we want you to really contribute by bringing your data, by asking questions.
There's a question about if we will cover probabilistic forecasting. So maybe you should say a few things. That it's not just about fat tails, but also, the whole problem of.
Yeah, also here, it depends on what probabilistic forecasting means, but obviously in producing forecasts, we will deal about the uncertainty related to that, because obviously telling that something tomorrow will be 12, that's the number I get, and you cannot associate any confidence interval up to that, it's totally useless. So obviously we will do that, yes.
There is a question about ERALDA High. Are these assignments related to the lectures? Of course, the assignments are related to the lectures, but you're going to have a lot of flexibility of how you're going to do the forecast and how you're going to estimate uncertainty. I mean, let's not forget, uncertainty is a topic that it's not as popular as forecasting, but it's as important as forecasting. So we're going to try to do both of them, okay?
And also for Eralda, another question about if we're gonna consider energy forecasting models. In fact, one of the examples we will be working with will be one that relates to energy prices forecasting. So we have the opportunity to examine energy-related applications, among others, and say a few things also if you are interested about energy demand forecasting, because the line is it's pretty much the same about how you deal with it.
I see a question by Mark that asks if what's the format of the course, in the sense that he understands that the lectures, the lessons are recorded, and then there is only a Q&A session. Now, the first lessons, the introduction to R, those are recorded. So those are recorded. You can watch the videos when you want. They will be available to you at the beginning of the course. And before actually the beginning of the course, you can watch the course, the videos, and then later, if you have questions, you can ask the questions during the course. But for what concerns the other lessons are live, in the sense that we are there online with you. We are teaching you, we are sharing our screens and all the cool things that we can do remotely, but the lesson is recorded in the sense that if you miss it, you find it again on the course website.
But the lectures are live.
Yeah,
So
the
you
lectures
can
are live.
interrupt us and ask questions at any time.
Yeah, it's really a real course as those that you could have in a physical classroom. The only difference is that you are wherever you are in the world. We are also in different locations, and what we will do, we will be live with you. We will interact with you. You can stop us if you have questions. If you do not understand something that is in the slides or in the code, you can stop us. But if, for whatever reason, you cannot attend that particular lesson, we suggest that you are present because it's easier if you can ask questions immediately, but you will find the recording on the course website. So also for watching again the video if something was not clear and you skipped the detail. Yeah.
There's a question about when is the deadline for registering for the course? It's up to the 9th of November. And if you want to gain more information, you can send an email to Nick Asimenos to answer you and make arrangements, whatever has to do with the financial aspects of the course.
In order to answer to Chris, this is indeed a practical. We will talk for forecasting and try to get our hands dirty, try to share with you how you should think when trying to solve a forecasting problem, how to estimate uncertainty, which is the best method for the task that you are dealing with. So yes, this will be very practical for you to learn and to apply your knowledge your company or organization.
I don't see any other questions.
I see a question again about probability and forecasts. Obviously, we will not just consider prediction intervals, so prediction, the forecast interval. We will deal also with distribution. Naturally, it depends on the model. Okay, so for certain models, it's easier to be dealt with, for other less, but yes.
The course material, Mark, will be available to you even after the course. Okay, the courses will be recorded and uploaded to the platform used for the course. There will also be a forum where you can post any questions. We typically answer questions even way after the end of the course. So this is very active. Yes, you can have access to the material.
I see a question about what is that? Sorry, okay, yeah, it is. Will there be any section about how to best support decision making using the forecasting results? Yes, that's actually the purpose. So that's the idea that once you have your forecasts, what you can do with that and how you can use those forecasts for your decisions, of taking conscious decisions, obviously. So it's really a course that wants to be as complete as possible, okay? Because obviously in the amount of hours, is not that we can cover everything in the smallest details possible. That's how you can understand. But what you will learn is something is ready to use knowledge. Okay, so that's and also for decision making and decision taking.
There's a lot of people that are interested both in forecasting electricity price, electricity data, either production or I want to stress that one of the examples that I'll be providing when forecasting using machine learning methods will be using data from electricity prices. So this will be a nice example for you to understand how such methods could be used for this kind of tasks. And of course, if you are more interested in or production data, then this could actually be your final assignment. You can use this kind of data for your final assignment, and then we'll be happy to help you model this kind of data and learn how to predict energy consumption.
Vangelis, how many data there are in the electricity price? In the electricity data
set,
I think it's 55,000.
I think it's 6 years of data, and the data are hourly. So you have 8,000 observations per year. Yeah, that's more than enough to work for the final assignment.
Yeah, which is now what one can do with the new machine learning methods. And you put everything there and try to forecast the best.
Francesco, we will not be using Keras. The course will be provided using R. This will be the main programming language used in the course. But if you are familiar with Python and you want to use it, you are free to do so.
And since we're talking about how the course will be presented, the three of us, Pasquale, Evangelos, and me, were very complementary in what we're doing in forecasting. Me, I'm doing a lot about the M competitions and what we have learned from the M competitions. So I'm going to be talking more about the general parts of forecasting, how we deal with forecast, how we deal with uncertainty, how we use forecasting and uncertainty for decision making. Pasquale will be talking a lot about fat tails and about forecasting applications. He's doing a lot of work in this area. And Vangelis will be talking a lot about the machine learning methods, which are what now they're basically going to substitute all other methods for accurate forecasting. So we're a team, in other words.
There is one thing, since you cited that, Spiros, I think that there is one thing that we could share, which is also in line with the course, even if not strictly related to the course. Let me share my screen for a second. Here it is. And is this fact that we highly encourage you to participate in the MPhile Virtual Conference Award ceremony that essentially is on October the 29th. You see the timing, and obviously the time will change depending on your time zone. But this is a very, very nice occasion, not only in view of the course. In general, you will see the winners of the M5 competition that really got astonishing results, and Spiros, Professor Makridakis, will tell you more about that. And if you scroll down, and you find this information as well on the course website, if you scroll down, you can see that there are also very interesting keynote speakers. So it's a very nice occasion. It's a very nice conference, and we hope to see you there.
Do we have any other questions?
I'm scrolling. Maybe we missed something. Let me see. Python, no, we answered. The forum, yes, there is a forum. It's not necessary to have a strong previous knowledge in R. We will cover that. For all the bureaucratic and administrative matters, you can always refer to Nick that has shared his email, and obviously you can also contact him via the website. So it's important. If you have questions, they are for sure important and they must be answered. The assignments, there are assignments. We really stress the fact that you have to bring your own data if you have them, if you want. That's important, so you can really play with your own stuff. But if you don't have the data, you can just ask for the data. We have plenty of data, so there is no problem at all with that. We will cover fat tails, we will cover machine learning. Yeah, I think that we answered everything. Again, the last question I see is by Emmanuel, I have no background in programming. Is this course for me? Yes, this course is for you if you're willing to learn about forecasting and you're willing to invest a little bit in learning R that we will use in the course. We will provide you all the materials. We will teach you, I will teach you R in some preliminary classes. So if you are willing to invest time and to study, yeah, the course is for you, for sure.
And the advantage is after the end of the course, you are going to know how to program in R.
Yes, indeed. So even if at a certain point you are no longer interested,
more time, you may have spent some more time during the course to learn R, but then you're going to know how to do R. And R is really a very efficient language for forecasting. And all of the methods are in R.
Yes. And as you can also see, we strongly suggest that you follow us on Twitter. If you can follow the Twitter account of the Makridakis Open Forecasting Center. If you want, you can also follow us, the three of us. We all have Twitter accounts, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel because new materials will pop up. Actually, a lot of new materials will pop up in the next weeks. Also, besides the course, for the activities of the center.
There's a question.
There's a question, sorry. If the course will cover all benchmark methods in the M5 competition, yes, we're going to cover all of them. And as a matter of fact, we're going to give you the paper, which is a draft paper which discusses the findings of the M5 competition. So you're going to be the first, you're going to read what are the results and the findings of the M5 competition. And there we describe all of the benchmark methods. To tell you, Vangelis is the major person. We're doing together the M competitions, and we've done together the M4 and the M5, and he knows as much, or better, he knows much more about the practical, technical details of the M4 and M5 than me. And he will be there to talk about it, and he will talk to you about the benchmarks.
Anything you want, happy to discuss the benchmarks for the M4, for the M5, and about the question of Ray. Yes, we're gonna be using time series. We're gonna work with time series to consider explanatory variables and how you can information to forecast various things of your own interest.
I see that there are questions about large data sets and the so-called big data.
Yeah.
Now, the course is not specifically on big data, so this is not a course on big data, but we will cover, when needed, some of the problems that you can encounter in large data sets. For example, I will cover that in terms of fat tails, because it's a quite common problem with that. And obviously, again, if you have not, have a look at the course outline. but this is only the starting point, because as we told you, during the course, you can ask all your questions. So if you have your curiosities about any specific topic, you can try to go deeper in the assignments, in the final assignment. During the course, you can interact, and we are at your disposal for your questions.
Ray, here's another question. Supervised and unsupervised learning and reinforced learning, all covered.
Yeah, I can answer that. Well, when you deal with forecasting problems, you mainly use supervised learning methods because you know which is the target variable. It's the thing that you're trying to forecast. Okay, so most of the methods that we'll see will be supervised. I'm not saying that unsupervised learning methods are not used in forecasting. We will discuss briefly some of them, but it's not typical to use this kind of method. But we will use reinforced learning. We will see gradient boosting. Okay, so which is classic example. So yes, you see all those stuff in the course.
Well, if there are no any other questions, we're so clear in everything, I guess, that we don't want to ask more questions. Huh? Okay, so here's enough.
Before we hang up, I'd just like to to add one thing. The two huge benefits of this course is, number one, if you can bring your own data, it's like bringing your company's data to the some of the most experienced and well-renowned forecasters on the planet to work with you to help get these results. And the other major benefit is this direct kind of access that we're having right now with the instructors. The ability to to just ask. It's not really a face-to-face, but in this day and age, it's and people all over the planet, this is as close as we're going to get. So these are the two major benefits. If you can bring your own data, you're bringing it to the best data to the best forecasters on the planet, or some of them, and you will have this kind of access to the instructors throughout the duration of the course.
Okay, so any questions, then you send email to Nick, and we thank you very much for listening to us, and hopefully we're going to see you in the course.
I see that there is a question about Stata. Again, we use R. In the course, we use R. That's the language, okay? Because we have to choose one. It's not possible to choose all the languages. I myself was working with SAS until half an hour ago, so we use a lot of language, but we have to choose one. So we chose R. Obviously, as we said, you are free to use other languages if you feel more familiar with that. The point is that what we will share with you is the R code, is the R language, okay? But if you have the willingness of using Stata, to use Python, to use Mathematica, to use SAS, whatever you want to use, MATLAB, feel free. Definitely, yes. And there is a question about if we forecast the duration of the webinar. I can forecast that I will tend to speak more because I speak a lot. So that I can already forecast quite with a good confidence. But you can stop me at the end of the lecture. If you are fed up, you can tell me, okay, stop, and I will stop.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, and hopefully see you in the course.
Yes. Okay.
Bye-bye. Professor Magridonis has got a very generous promo code. I will be forwarding that tomorrow, and we're available for any questions that you forgot to ask. We're still around for you guys.
Sure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Good day. Bye-bye.